Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move to the 21st century. But as we move through the 21st century, how are we going to be able to take care of 9 billion people by 2050 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of the century? And that's what we're going to be talking about here, how we prepare the next generations to get ready for what is to come, specifically as it relates to the environment and climate change. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me that's been with us before. This is Jason Wang. He's the president of U.S.-China Council for International Exchanges. And also he's the creator of Our Green Planet, which is an art contest and exhibition. And sitting right next to him is Ann Friend. Ann, welcome. And she is the education coordinator, camp director at the Workhouse Art Center in Lorton. And she's also the host for the Our Green Planet art contest and exhibition. And welcome to you both.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I'm glad to have you here. Jason, tell us a little bit about the mission and vision as far as your own organization is concerned. And then why have you moved from engineering and business and all that to art, and particularly for children as it relates to the environment?
Thank you. U.S.-China Council for International Exchanges is a non-government, non-profit organization based in Fairfax, Virginia. Our organization was especially established in late 1980s, and our goal is to promote sustainable development, prosperity, and the better quality and the better environment for all mankind through international educational programs, cultural programs. And it is our belief that a better world is created by human beings. Problems of the world will be fixed by human beings. And all humans act according to their own culture. Art is a very important element in culture. And we believe by using art as a media, we can better educate people, especially the young children, the generation of tomorrow. So that's why we believe we could use art education as a means to promote environmental protection.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And also we call them the next generations. But at the same time, they're very young, but yet they're actually active now as far as the environment, and sometimes more than the adults,
right,
which I find very interesting. And we're going to explore that. And looking at the history as far as the Workhouse Art Center, tell us a little bit about that. It's in Lorton. And tell us a little more about that. And then how did you link up with Jason as far as having this special art emphasis on the environment and climate change?
Yeah, thank you. Well, the Workhouse Art Center actually used to be a prison. It was opened in 1910 as a workhouse, and it was for nonviolent offenders with short sentences. And they would come to the workhouse, and the goal was for them to learn new skills and techniques that they would then bring out into the workforce. Because it was a self-sufficient complex, they did everything themselves. So they built all the bricks and the buildings. They had a barn with a farm and a water treatment plant, a power plant. They did everything. And then throughout the history, the role changed a little bit. There was also a women's prison on the complex at one point, and there were suffragists that were there in the 1910s who were
So this has a really long history then.
It does, yeah. So they were fighting for women's right to vote. And then eventually it became known as the Lorton Reformatory. And it was closed as a prison in 2001 and opened as an art center in 2008.
So you actually have a long history within what you're doing then. That's you know, really a long time now that you've been there. And so how did you get involved as far as the environment, but having children specifically involved as far as art is concerned?
Yeah, so we do host a number of student and children exhibitions throughout the year. And Jason actually contacted the Workhouse and told us about this contest and the plan, and we just collaborated from there. And we started he started collaborating with the Workhouse in around January, and we just kind of kept going from there.
Looking at all this, how did you come up with Our Green Planet as your theme?
We organized actually a contest among children using art to express their opinions about environmental problems and their care for the Mother Earth. We discussed the subject earlier this year with friends in different organizations, volunteer organizations. One lady, Lou Cousins of the Vienna Art Society, raised up point, Green Planet. I think this is a wonderful idea because it's big enough, it has the interest of all human beings, and it gives enough room for children to use their creativity. They can create all kinds of artwork for different subjects. So I think this is a very big project, good subject.
Yeah, and looking at what you're doing as far as the art center that you have there in Lorton, how did you want to, and how did you and then want to become involved as far as this Our Green Planet, and how does that theme fit in with what you're doing on a regular basis at your center? Because I know you have an expansive number of offerings there.
The arts are really important, especially for children and for their development, both creatively, like for creativity, and then also just learning a discipline. So when he contacted us, we're immediately on board, and the fact that it involves the environment as well just takes it to a whole nother level, because it's teaching children to really appreciate the earth and also to investigate and help figure out how we can preserve our planet.
Yeah. And looking at this whole thing, what are some of the main themes they came up with? I know it's environment, climate change, and all that, but actually you had, I think, 4 different themes that really struck a chord with your mind and your heart,
yes.
And had this running throughout this whole project.
Yes. During this art contest, all the children, participating children, did their best, like athletes in a sports ground. To my surprise, I see more children or better performance than I expected. One theme is how beautiful the world is. The Green Planet is a common home for all human beings. They painted with a brush, animals, flowers, trees, sea animals. Just the best part that we should cherish.
Like this one, a raindrop.
Yeah, yes. The second part is, let's say, more concerned with the existing problems. Children observe the problems and they put the problems on the paper. They show dry land, shortage of water, animal killing, air pollution, dumping of trash on the beaches, and any big brands of subjects they observed. The third subject is they do not only want to show the problem, they want to express their opinion, their attitude on it. I'm glad to see some children say, no littering, stop dumping, stop killing animals, etc. The last one, of course, is action. I think action is more important because action can change the problem. It can put a solution to the problem. And some children say, let's get united. Let's do something together. Let's join hands.
Yeah, and that came out in their artwork, and we're going to see some of that in just a bit. But Anne, looking at this, as far as organizing and being involved, what are some of the general impressions you had with the idea? You said immediately we were on board, but then as it started evolving, did it become more exciting, more interesting? Did you see more participation from the community than you thought? How did this thing start, taking a momentum of its own and start moving forward?
I'll say we really saw it when the actual exhibit was in place, because you plan, and then everything comes to fruition. The day of the award ceremony, there was a huge crowd that filled the exhibition space. It was amazing to see all the families that were there supporting the students. And that was one thing that I took away from that was really important, that the parents were supporting the kids and also their research and in helping the environment.
I want to ask you a follow-on question to this. We have a photograph here of the people going through and looking at the exhibit, and we see some of the artwork that we actually are showing with the slides. And how are the children actually educating the adults and sensitizing the adults through their artwork? And do you see this on a regular basis in what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, I would say we see that on a regular basis where it's associated with the environment or with other topics as well. But for this exhibit in particular, I feel like when you see children notice something that's wrong and looking to take action, then really we do need to take action and figure out how we can preserve our planet.
Because it's the proverbial canary in the coal mine. Many times the children are more sensitive to things than the adults because we're used to it. We just keep doing the same thing over and over. Jason, looking at the themes that you talked about, what came out of this that you felt like was really something very special that surprised you? You didn't think you would see? And maybe give us 2 or 3 impressions that way.
Well, first of all, the variety of subjects. The contest, through the contest, children have already covered. It's so broad. They have different kinds of environmental problems. They visualized. Then they also use different kind of media in creating the paintings. The diversity also shows in the age, the ethnic cultural backgrounds. We have 68 children participated and sent in their paintings. So it impresses me that environmental protection is a common theme, not only for the children, but also their parents as well. Thanks to the efforts of the art instructors, the parents, the children did a wonderful job. The second thing that impressed me is they have a very strong willing that they hope this kind of events could happen again, and the more opportunities they would have in future.
Now we're just out of time, but what do you see for the expansion, say over the next 2, 5, maybe even 10 years for this kind of activity and arts as it relates to the world in general and the environment, of course?
Well, in the future, I think environmental challenge will be more and more impactful, and we want more children to get involved. So we would like to organize, experiment different forms of activities like this in the future.
This is Jason Wang, and we also have Ann Friend with us. Thank you for being with us, dear viewers, as we create the Emerald Planet.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
I got a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. But I don't wanna get on. Very sad, no more love. All that I can do was remember you. You know I usually stay now, but if you throw me love off the wood some more.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes. I mean,
Right?
like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
we're back to the Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Welcome to the Emerald Planet as we're talking about the Earth, our green planet. And what we're going to be doing about it now and not waiting some 5, 10, 20 years in the future and then finding out that we really have gone beyond the tipping point as far as the point of no return on the environment and how we're going to be able to sustain all life on planet Earth. And we have 2 people with us that are actually young artists that have been thinking and creating artwork about this whole theme. And then also Shen is here with us. She's a mother, also a special advisor as far as Eileen Zhao sitting right here. And thank you for being with us. And you go to Hunt Valley Elementary School, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we have Aiyana Bage, who is at the Floris Elementary School, correct? And you both have created some really beautiful artwork. So we're going to see that shortly, okay? Sounds good. But I'm going to talk to your mom right now. And looking at why you think it's so important that these 2 young people be involved in art, but specifically as it relates to the environment.
The thing is, I think art and picture is a very good way for kids to express themselves. It's like very direct, and it's like original, they express their original impression of the environment. And the thing is, it's from the artworks, it's very easy for kids to tell like blue sky and gray sky, clear water and polluted water. And also from one piece of artwork, they can just integrate many things together. So I think artwork is a really good way to for them to start with the environment protection.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and they've done a beautiful piece of artwork, and we have yours up here first. But looking at, what would you find the most surprising and the most gratifying as far as being involved in Our Green Planet and having artwork and having a number of children from, throughout the area, not just from one school?
Yeah, it's just great that when we in the exhibition, I saw so many kids and their parents working hard and involved about environmental protection. I saw artworks like Eileen's. She's expressed beautiful word in her mind, and I also saw some kids' artwork is about some negative things about our environment. Like I saw one kid drawing about no more littering, please. And I saw one piece is our earth is packed with different kind of trash. And that raised a lot of problems and issues we need to solve. And I'm really glad to see all these artworks.
Yeah. Now, Eileen, you actually drew something called the Earth Flower, correct?
Yes.
Now, tell us, what is actually in your Earth Flower? Why do you call it Earth Flower?
I call it Earth Flower because it's the globe of the Earth is connected to a stem and some leaves on the stem. And the things around the globe is kind of like the petals of the flower. So that's why I like to call it the Earth Flower.
Yeah, and we have this right here in front of us, and we see the stem, and we see the flower itself and the petals that you're talking about. What are some of the petals that you used in your Earth Flower?
I did people,
Okay.
and a lot of trees, and some buildings.
Yes, and I think it's really a very interesting mix. You had all different types of buildings, different sizes. And how do you see people and the trees and the buildings being important as far as your Earth Flower?
They're important because we are people, and trees give us a lot of things. For example, the leaves of the trees can actually clean the air for us to breathe in.
Yeah, and you know, you're telling us a lot of important things that many adults have not even thought about. So it's very important that we do that. Aiyana, you created something called the Stay United and Save Our Mother Earth, and this is some of the scenes that we have here as far as the creation. This is Eileen and her work, getting her award and her image. But we have the one that you have here, Aiyana. And so tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here.
So like we have a globe of Earth, and then there's continents in it, which shows ways how we can save our Mother Earth. And for example, there's save energy and protect animals. And on the Earth, around the Earth, there's some people, little kids, holding hands with their national flags. And it means we kids are the future to our Mother Earth. We can remind people to take care of the Mother Earth. And the rainbows on the four corners of my artwork stand for the rainbow of peace and harmony when people work together to keep the earth clean and tidy.
I tell you, that's just very profound, what you had to share with us, and thank you very much for sharing that. Looking at the rainbows, tell us a little more about the rainbows.
Well, the rainbows can like show different colors of what people are doing, and it also can mean when somebody's not doing something good, the rainbow can fade.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then you have the people holding hands, right? And then also you have different flags of different countries. Now, why did you have the different flags in your artwork?
I had different flags because it shows the various countries of the people who are working together to keep the Mother Earth clean and green.
Now, why did you say we're going to protect Mother Earth? Because more and more people are talking about Mother Earth. And why are you talking about it through your artwork?
Because like when I looked at the Our Green Planet project, I thought about the Mother Earth, and as if we can like take care of it by like doing good things. Because we were the ones who polluted it, so we should take care of it also.
That's fantastic. What a great concept you have there. And that's something we need to be sharing with everyone, that we have to take care of Mother Earth, right? Yeah, that's very, very important. Ms. Shen, looking at what was kind of the balance you have as mother being involved, encouraging the students. You know, there's a lot of roles that you have, and these are very young and very wise. I mean, there's, you know, wisdom comes from the mouth of babes, right?
Exactly.
Is one of those quotes.
Yeah.
And so how did you see this allowing them to truly express their feelings and the thoughts that they're showing right here on television?
Just like you said, Dr. Sam, they are very smart kids, and actually they have their own feelings to express, and so that's why I think artwork is a really good way. Just like I said, like for example, Eileen works on her earth flower drawing pictures. When she worked on that, she did a lot of work. She collecting materials and think about the drawing, composition, coloring, and shading. And at the same time, she learns more and more things about environment. And she learns about all these animals, and she learns about the trees. And sometimes she almost learns some like things like on global warming things. So yeah, this is not easy for young kids. She was just 6 years old when she working on that. She working on that like every morning before she went to school for I think 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
So,
incredible.
yeah.
You really were dedicated
Yeah,
then
yeah.
to getting this done. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. And, yeah.
Well, it is inspiring to the adults to have this, and that's why we wanted to have this program. But Eileen, going back to your earth flower, What do you think that you're actually being able to share to other children your age, and maybe even the adults that you meet, even your teachers, that maybe they need to be learning some of the things that you have discovered in all of this?
Maybe you can talk about the animals. Yeah, the animals are endangered, and so we want to make their habitats and don't cut too much trees, and so then we can save our animals.
Yeah, it seems like what you have as far as the picture that you've created there is that you're looking at all living beings, because we kind of just think of human beings living on Earth, right? But we're sharing it with many animals, and also the plants in many religions are living beings, and then all the anaerobic bacterias and other life forms that we don't even think of is out there too. So it looks like you're trying to protect all of them. Is that correct? Okay, well, that's very good. And looking at this, we're going to save Mother Earth. How do you think of what you've drawn here can help others to think about Mother Earth in the way that you're thinking about it?
So, like, what can help the Mother Earth is, like, people can collect trash from the ocean that comes to shore and then pick it up and like put it in a recycling center, and they can make it into something good. And people can turn off the lights when they're done doing things, and they can protect animals by not hunting them.
And eating more vegetables, right? Yeah. All of us need to do that, right? Having more vegetables. Well, it sounds like, Ms. Shen, you accompanied both of these young ladies, and it's amazing what they understand about the environment and the importance of it. So we've just about run out of time, so we have about 15, 20 seconds. What is your impression of what you've heard tonight and what you saw through this Our Green Planet effort?
I just love that to hear all the kids so involved into environmental protection, and this is not a job for only one generation. It's the job for many generations, and we just keep going on that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Lily Shen and Ellen Zhao and Aiyana Bage as we create the Emerald Planet.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh, no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school.
Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
we're back to the Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we look around the globe for what we call the best of the best practices, the best technologies, services, products, and the people, of course, that are making a difference as we go through the 21st century. And we're thinking about planet Earth and how we're going to protect it. We know that there's severe climate change going on around us. We're being impacted on a day-to-day basis. And yet some people feel that they're oblivious to it or maybe above the changes that are happening to not only our weather, but our environment. And we have two people with us that actually have been thinking about this, but also working with children and seeing what they can learn, but also what they can share with others. And sitting over to my far left, this is Denny Lee. She is the vice chair of the board for the Hope Chinese School, Fairfax campus. I understand you have many campuses, so I'm impressed with that.
Yes.
And also she was a member of the organizing committee for our Green Planet art contest and exhibition. And then Shay Yi Zong is the art instructor at U.S. Art School. And also she had students that were in this whole effort as far as our Green Planet. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Glad to have you to the Emerald Planet. And we're going to start sharing some of the artwork that came out of this. But Denny, tell us a little bit about the Hope Chinese School, also your summer camp program, and then why did you become involved as far as our Green Planet art program?
Wonderful. First, thank you for inviting us to come to your program, and I'd be glad to tell you about Hope Chinese School is a weekend cultural language and also as well as academic enhancement school. We have currently 8 campuses and going to be 9 soon, and we also have 3 summer camps throughout the whole metropolitan area.
Yeah, and it was just amazing how large your program is. I mean, I knew about the actually the one campus, but then you told me there are 8 and you're getting ready to add a 9th.
Yes.
So you're expanding at a very rapid rate.
Yes.
And you're really providing great service, and we really appreciate as far as what you're doing with this Our Green Planet, this experimental program, because this is a way for youth to really be able to, you know, express themselves, but also to share the wisdom they have and what they're learning at a very young age with people much older than they are. And Xiaoyi, thank you for being here, and tell us a little bit about the U.S. Art School, and why did you think it is important that your students become involved in this? It's summertime, you know, people can, you know, go do other things, but yet at the same time you felt like this was very important.
Yes, so U.S. Arts is a art education center that specializes using art to help students form habits/skills that they would need to success or be responsible adults later on, no matter what their major, no matter what their field. And some of the skills that we specialize in helping them develop is creativity, the ability to think and brainstorm beyond the given instruction, and then also to develop patience from the beginning to the end of the project so that they don't give up in the middle, which is very important for adults because a lot of people have that issue. And then also we want them to form their own opinions and really be invested in their story. So we don't have them copy pictures, but we want them to invest, to investigate, to think and brainstorm and come up with their own creations, and really leave a part of themselves in the drawings, so that it's not just very blank, very generic pictures. And we think it's very important to participate in our Green Planet programs and this contest. Children should be aware. Some of them are, some of them are not. So through this program, they're really thinking and, like you mentioned earlier, investigating and really just putting their passions through art and expressing that to other people.
Yeah, and this is absolutely beautiful art when you look at these monarch butterflies and just every aspect of this. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible, the creativity, but it's how they can look at nature and then be able to put this on paper in such a vivid manner. And so what you're doing then, Xiaoyi, is that you're actually teaching them long-term life skills that's going to carry through their entire existence on planet Earth, right?
We hope so, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
and and they're getting a chance to practice, as you say, being able to stick to it, dedicate yourself, have an end product.
And be committed to what they believe in and what they want to show you, yes.
And also, but I think one thing you brought out that's unique, and then I want to chat with Denny for just a minute, is the fact is express the beauty of the earth, because that expresses your inner beauty to everyone around you. Definitely. And that's what you're seeing?
Yes, through even some of the drawings that I'm seeing from the contest, I was so amazed because the way they use the colors, it's maybe not, those aren't realistic colors, but they're very expressive of how they feel. It's the inner beauty that's coming out onto the paper, and it's how they see things and how they want to see things that they're expressing on the paper. The colors, the compositions, the minute details that everyone's showing in the drawings are very, very impressive.
Yeah, and that's in this painting that we have up here right now. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible, the detail of this. And you can almost see the stroke for every tree that's in this forest. It's just absolutely amazing. Denny, why do you believe it's so important? This is something you and I were talking about earlier, that all citizens, regardless of country, be involved as far as taking action for our green planet. Why is that so important?
Well, I think, we live on this earth, and we had many generations prior to us, and I'm sure going to be many generations after us. And due with all respect, I think we should keep this planet as how we entered, and so keep the best environment for our children or generations later to come.
Okay, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now, looking at this particular painting that we have right here, again, it's going to the very detail, and this is something that Xiaoyi, you were talking about as far as being able to express themselves, to stick to it, to practice. We heard that, one student was working 2 weeks, on a single painting. And you think for a young child, I mean, that takes a tremendous amount of dedication, but also attention to detail. And this particular painting here, I think, is just absolutely incredible as far as the detail is concerned. Like I said, you can almost see every tree that's in that. But as an art instructor, what is it that you are actually looking for as far as when the students come to you? And I know this is not something that's just genetic. It's something that you're looking at, that it's got to be individual. But what kind of attitudes or actions are you trying to embed but embody through all of your art instruction?
So through the art instruction, we want them not just to grow up to be involved in the art. We want them to take the attitude that we are helping them develop through whatever field they are doing later on in life. For example, how much care they put into their artwork really shows their attitude. And as you said earlier, it took 2 weeks for, I think, Eileen to finish her drawing, but oftentimes a lot of their drawings take 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a lot of commitment to ask of a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old, but we want them to develop that kind of tenacity and spirit, say, okay, if I'm not done with it, I will keep on working on it, even though it might get a little boring, it might get a little complex, but I will work through my mistakes and be confident that my artwork is going to look great. That's the attitude we want them to develop. Really, and hopefully it will just be enveloped. They'll be enveloped in this attitude that they'll use it later on, and everywhere else they do.
Yeah, looking at Denny being an educator at Hope Chinese School and being on the board as the vice chair, that's a great responsibility that you have, because you're looking at now soon to be 9 campuses and all the students are there. But how are you embedding this information about the environment, climate change, in the other curricula, the math, the sciences, even history, English languages? How are you taking that across the whole curriculum?
Yes, as I have mentioned earlier, we are not just academic enhancement program. We also promote culture, language, and of course this planet itself that I've been very engaged in. I also joined my children's school to promote this Green Planet events. And we also encourage carpools to help to make this earth better. And we definitely promotes the recycling among the children as well as the parents. And with the summer camp, we definitely want to inspire the children more to love whatever they learn or what they like, instead of the traditional enhancement program is more for repetition of copying and things, and that's not where we want to promote to the kids. We want them to learn and love what they actually encounter. So we've been years supporting this project and also looking for the future participation with this event.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole thing about that, Xiaoyi, if you look at what's going on with your artwork, how are you then embedding all this about the environment, climate change, improve, enhance the environment within the artwork that you're doing on a generalized basis?
So we actually do currently have projects whose subject are kind of disaster or climate change, climate phenomenons, as well as ecosystems, habitats, things like that. During our lessons, we don't just have them copy, but we do have a lot of information and knowledge that we give them where they take the information in and then they create their own drawing with their own designs and their own uniqueness to it. So we are actually taking that a step further. So we have started sort of aligning our program a little bit to the programs that is developed by Fairfax County called A Portrait of a Graduate, where a huge part of the priority is to create awareness on social, cultural, and environmental issues.
Do that one more time.
So the
emphasis on the three?
The emphasis on cultural, social, and environmental.
That's fantastic.
So these are what we want to do is they consider it important enough to embed into the Fairfax County school culture. We would like to do that as well. We feel that that would be very important. So in our lesson plans, we want to give more knowledge, more information, so that the children are getting a lot more things from it and getting a lot more impression from the lesson so that they remember.
That's fantastic. Well, sitting right beside me is Xiaoyin Zhang. Thank you for being here. Denny Lee from the Hope Chinese School. Thank you for being here. And thank you to our viewers for looking at this artwork, the wonderful action these children are bringing as we create the Emerald Planet.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul.
Estimated time, 47 hours.
They will beg.
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
They will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking.
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
we're back to the Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe on a week-to-week basis in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And of course, we're looking for the people that are going to make a difference not only today, but well into the future. And so we're focusing right now on what we call the next generations, TNGs. And these are the youth that actually are not only going to be involved in the future, they're actually becoming quite involved today. And so we have two young ladies that are sitting right beside me that are going to be sharing about their artwork and also their ideas as far as the environment is concerned. Because we need to be doing things today and not waiting another 10 or 20 or 30 years when we may have already gone beyond the tipping point of being able to save what we call Mother Earth. And so we have Eileen Victoria Ruffner. She goes to the Canterbury Woods Elementary School, and she's a painter of what's called Not Enough Water, and we're going to have that in a few minutes and talk about that. And then right beside me is Taylor Cassandra Ruffner. She also goes to Canterbury Woods Elementary School, and she's a painter of what's called Trapped in Trash. And I saw that, and I was intrigued by the way that you actually depicted trapped in trash, not a way that I would think of it at all. But let's go and let me put this picture up here. And this is the whole thing about not enough water. So Eileen, if you'll just look over at me, and how did you become involved and why did you want to choose this particular topic? Because many people have, brightly colored things and, lots of activity going on. But you're saying as far as, well, maybe we need to think about things very seriously. I think that's what's in your painting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about it.
Well, people are mistreating the earth. They're overusing the water and they're releasing chemicals into the air. They're chopping down too many trees. And in this picture that I drew, it shows the consequence of human activity.
Yeah, and this is something at, at a very young age that you're actually learning, and we're trying to teach many adults to think about these things, to turn the water off when they leave the room or not use too much in the shower, all these kinds of things. So when you were doing your research on this particular painting, what did you go out and look at things? Did you have to sit down and make a list of how people are having a negative impact on the water and the earth, or is this something that you've been observing your whole life?
Well, yeah, ever since I was little, I've been observing how humans are mistreating the planet, how water is being mistreated.
Yeah, I tell you, this is a very stark picture, but this shows you the lifestyle that you have, though. You're surrounded by lots of water. You live in a very beautiful area. So how did you come up with this idea that, I really want to portray this as far as we really have stark choices? I think that's what you're saying in your painting, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I've always been hearing about oil spills and lead poisoning in the water. It's kind of where I got my idea. And I was thinking, well, if we took out this water, we probably wouldn't be left with any water. There's very little clean water.
Yeah.
Very little water.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And there's the painting again. Now we're going to go over as far as trapped in trash. Now tell us how you came up with this. This is a very clever idea, and I never would have thought about this in a million years. So you're way beyond me and your creativity. Tell us about this painting. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, I love dolphins and marine life. And I often see litter on the ground, and when I can, I try to pick it up and put it in the proper, like a recycling bin, if it can be recycled. So I came up with the idea for the drawing because, if you leave trash anywhere, it might go into a drain into a stream, and then go into a river, and then end up in the ocean. So most trash ends up in the ocean, and that has a big effect on marine life.
Yeah, and this is something I'm sure, maybe, I shouldn't say sure, but maybe you've heard about these two huge islands of plastic and trash floating in the Pacific. They say they're about the size of the state of Texas or something like that. I mean, that's incredible. And, you know, we adults have done that. And so you're trying to do something about that as far as, you know, the artwork. And we're going to put up some pictures of Taylor here, but Eileen, going back to your not enough water, we talked about some of the why of that. What do you think your friends at school and the people that you see in the community, maybe even the adults, what can they learn as far as your painting is concerned?
Well, they can learn that you have to conserve the water that we have. You can't make new water, but you can't destroy water. And if you're brushing your teeth and you keep running the water for 20 minutes, you're wasting the water. You don't need that water. You could go to somebody who's homeless and doesn't have water. And I think, yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that you really, it seems like you think about this all the time. Yeah. Now, your friends at school and others that you're mingling with in the community, do they have the same sensitivity that you have towards the environment? Or do you think this is among all the people that you know? Or is this something that's very unique and special to you and Taylor?
Well, not everyone I know has a sensitivity, but our best friend Isabel, she does. We have a club that we're trying to help animals that have been negatively impacted from humans. And she's one of the members, so.
So what you're doing is you're actually expanding out, and you're getting more and more kids like you involved in this whole movement, right? Well, and that's what we were saying earlier, is that we can't wait 10 years or 20 years or 30 years to try to do something about this. We have to do it now, right? And I think that's actually what you're doing. And we're looking at some of the art exhibits here, but Taylor, you're one of those award winners. So as far as your artwork, Trapped by Trash, how do you think that has helped people that came to the exhibition and saw your painting, and these are adults, and what do you think the impression that maybe they came away with from your painting?
Well, there were tons of paintings there, and I think people definitely got a lot of ideas from a lot of them. From my painting, I think people would have gotten the idea that, you know, they would have walked away with the feeling that maybe, you know, there's really a problem in the ocean and we really need to fix it.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Eileen, when you think about the importance of the environment but also going to school and your day-to-day activities, being with your friends, how do you balance that in your life as far as thinking about what you're doing? Because it seems like, you know, you're picking up trash when you need to, you're doing recycling. How does all this really become part of your life and what you're doing?
Well, at school, we learned about a lot of the problems with the earth. And then when I'm out at recess with my friends and I see litter, I'll pick it up, put it in the recycling or the trash. So it all kind of goes together. And then my friends know about it. So I've been telling my friends who tell their friends, kind of spreading the word.
Yeah. Now, looking at your painting here, again, this is the one as far as, you know, the water is concerned. Taking this a step further, and our green planet. So what do you think maybe your next theme would be that you would like to draw and share with other people?
Well, I think my next theme would be litter.
Litter?
Yeah. How
Okay.
people are just dropping their plastic bags, their cans, everything on the ground and be like, oh, it'll stay here. It won't go anywhere. Wrong. It'll go into the environment, into the water. It'll harm a lot of animals.
Yeah, this is something they're really working on as far as the Anacostia River here in Washington, D.C., the Potomac, because anything that you leave on the streets, maybe even your yards, we got all this heavy rain coming, and it goes into the storm drains, swoosh, go out into the rivers, and then goes into the Chesapeake Bay and all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean, and that's, you know, where we're getting, you know, these trash islands floating around outside there. This is really interesting that you came up here, Taylor. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing around the dolphin. We know the dolphin is trapped, can't move forward and all that. But what's part of the background and underneath all of this that we're looking at here, and why did you draw it that way?
Well, so this dolphin is underwater, as you can see, and the rope that's attached to is attached to a tire. And around it is sand, you know, like the bottom of the ocean. And there's just a bunch of trash there, and that trash could, you know, cut if something that went on, just glass bottles, and all that can be very dangerous to marine life. And you know, there's just a ton of trash on the ground, you know, and very few plants, because it's hard for plants to grow in an environment where there's pollution.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. It's just, you know, just looking at your sisters and you know, the artwork she did with not enough water. You know, it's a stark reality. But here we're looking at the ocean. It's nice and blue and all that. But yet it's really kind of stark too, isn't it? With all the trash that's there and all the nastiness that us humans are putting out there. And then the poor animals get trapped in this. So, I mean, we have to really think about things a very different way. We're almost out of time, so I'm going to ask you one last question. So, Eileen, what do you think for the future over the next couple of years as you go up in the grades and you're sharing your ideas? How do you think that maybe your attitudes are going to change or become more mature?
Well, when I grow up, I could tell more people, become more aware, start a bigger foundation. I could join a foundation. I could go out as like a business and pick up trash on the beaches or post signs or something.
And Taylor, what do you think about what you can do in the future?
Well,
and we got to be very quick.
Well, definitely, you know, conserve as much as you need to. If you don't need to do something, you don't need to do it.
That's absolutely fantastic. You don't need it, don't use it, right?
Yes.
And don't waste it.
Yeah, don't just throw it on the floor.
This is Eileen Ruffner and also Taylor Ruffner as we're looking at their artwork, looking around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet.